Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the Human Service Committee. I'm Jan Burdick, Chairman, and we will start with roll call, please.
Mrs. Burdick.
Here.
Mrs. Ricketts Swales.
Here.
Mr. Barnes.
Present.
Mrs. Hanchett.
Here.
Mrs. Root.
Here.
Mr. Rumfelt.
Here.
Mr. Stockin.
Here.
And Mr. Harris. 7 present.
Thank you. Can we have a motion to approve the April 17th committee meeting minutes, please?
Root will make that motion.
Rumfeld, second.
Any corrections or changes? All in favor? Aye. Carried. Anita isn't here, so we will skip to Tyler, if that's okay with you, Tyler. Okay, we will go with Tyler Shaw, Public Health Director. Welcome, Tyler.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
First up is monthly report, and just some highlights. Our WIC participants are remaining pretty constant from month to month. And just some highlights on the general communicable disease. We are seeing at this time for April of this year, more frequent Lyme disease diagnosis and influenza B, which is pretty common for that time of period. So just reminding everyone we are coming into tick season. Wear your repellents, do your tick checks, and talk to your doctor if you have any questions or you see those rashes. One other highlight that I have that's not on the monthly report is our next rabies clinic we are taking pre-registration for. It's June 8th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Centerville Highway Department building. That's on County Road 3. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions on Tyler's report? All right, then I guess we'll get right into your agreements.
First up is an agreement for 2 booths at the Allegheny County Fair.
I have a motion for this.
Hanchett will move. Ricketts Swales will second.
Any questions or comments? And you get a free one as well, right?
We do for the WIC Rock and Rest, the breastfeeding booth. Yep.
All in favor? Aye. Carried. And the next one is for the Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention Program.
Yeah, so this is our recurring state grant contract for the Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention Program in the amount of $49,900 per year in grant funds.
I have a motion to approve that.
Ricketts Swales will move that.
Stockings.
Any questions or comments on this one? All in favor? Aye. Carried.
Next up is our Environmental Education Associates lead training agreement. This is part of our HUD lead grant. We need to have a certified training provider, and the price is down there in the fiscal impact for each of the different trainings that we plan to offer.
Root will make that motion.
Hanchett will second.
Any questions or comments on this? Are you having trouble getting people to sign up for this?
We have a handful at this point. We are still taking any interest. We have a survey out on our website if anyone's interested as a contractor or even someone who wants to do home renovations themselves, they can sign up for this training. It is free for whoever does sign up.
Because I've noticed you've posted it a lot on the Facebook Live page, so I wondered if it was because you weren't getting much response.
Just trying to put it out there.
Okay,
Yep.
good, good. All in favor? Aye. Carried.
Next is a MOU with Healthy Families of Allegheny and Cattaraugus County. This is primarily for our WIC program who makes referrals to that agency.
We have a motion for this one.
Rumfeld, second.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Carried.
Next up is our septic. We got additional funds for the septic system replacement program. And this covers the Upper Genesee River area. And this grant is going to run from May 1st of this year till March 31st of 2027.
We have a motion. Second, anybody? Any questions or comments on this one?
I have a question.
Sure, Deb.
So do families come and apply to you for these grants to give them out?
Yes, yep. This is for 50% of the replacement. So if their system is failing or likely to fail, when our office does an assessment for them, then we can kind of give them the paperwork.
Is there any requirements for this, for the families?
As long as their system is failing or likely to fail, and
So no
they're
fi-
in that geographic area. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So they have to be in this particular area though,
They
right,
do,
for this one?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Ricky?
What is that area? It says Upper Genesee, but what's that entail?
I'll get you I'll send you a map after this so we can include that in the minutes as well.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Carried. Okay, and then we go to some MOEs.
First MOE is to accept and appropriate additional funds in the ELC COVID-19 grant. We received an additional $60,213.
Hanchett will move.
Ricketts Swales will second.
Any questions? Is this restricted money on how it can be spent?
So our budget adjustment, we're putting it in regular pay. You'll see it's delineated on that sheet there.
So-
That's how we plan to use that money.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Okay, flipping through here. Next up is an MOE to accept and appropriate remaining CD VAX grant funds. And this is just a rollover from previous year.
Root will make a motion.
Hanchett will second.
Any questions on this one? All in favor? Aye. Carried. Let's see, is that, nope, we have another one.
Yep, so this is the other portion of the septic system replacement program. So this is the first part of that grant. We are just rolling over the funds that we had left in that portion of the grant.
We have a
Stockton
motion.
move.
Ricketts Swales will second.
Any questions on this one? This is the same area as the other one?
This
or-
was the Canacadea
This is the
Creek area.
Canacadea one?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Carried. Okay, now we are to request and create and fill, right?
Yep, I have a request to create and fill a part-time early intervention service coordinator. We've seen quite a large increase in service coordination needs with children 0 to 3, so we do need this part-time position to help out with that.
We have a motion for this one.
Hanchett will move.
Ronfeldt will second.
Any questions or comments?
It is in the budget, or part of this grant. One of,
We got a new grant, so 100% of the funding for the salary will be funded, but the fringe is not funded.
okay, thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Carried.
Next up is a request to fill one of our early intervention service coordinators. Again, this is part-time. This is due to a resignation.
Ronfeldt will move.
Root will second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay,
Next up is a request to fill a public health sanitarian. This is an existing position, and this is also due to resignation.
Ricketts Swales will move.
Ronfeldt will second.
any questions or comments on this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And one more, I believe.
Lastly, but not least, a request to fill a WIC nutritionist position, and this is also due to resignation.
Root will make a motion.
Ricketts Swales will second.
Are they going to other departments or can we ask that?
This individual in particular lives closer to a different county, so they're moving to another county health department.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Any other things you want to talk about today, Tyler?
That's it for me.
All right, thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
All right, we will jump back to the Officers Aging then. Anita Madison, please. Good afternoon, Anita.
Good afternoon.
All right,
I apologize, I was searching for parking.
Yeah, we understand, believe me.
The first thing on the agenda is our monthly report. A couple of things to highlight. The PC Level 1, which is housekeeper chore, services during that month was 238 versus the previous month of 189. Those are hours of in-home services. Also, 793 versus 683. Health insurance counseling is 238 versus 189. And those are contacts. So high cap or health insurance counseling is contacts, and housekeeper chore or PC Level 1 are hours of service. Go and dine meals, 244 versus the previous month at 200. Those are vouchers that are redeemed at the local restaurants that participate in our Go and Dine program. Home delivered meals, 8,446 versus 7,966 meals the previous month. And our congregate, which are our luncheon centers, our 9 traditional congregate luncheon centers, we had 1,069 meals served versus 952. So you can see the increasing trend in meals across the board, whether it be traditional congregate home delivered or go and dine vouchers redeemed.
Do you have any reason why it's increased so much, do you think?
We don't really have an explanation as to why it's increasing. We just know that that is the trend.
All right.
Do you think maybe especially for the luncheon centers, the weather getting nicer, people getting out more, or that doesn't usually make a difference?
Well, you know, a lot of times we have our congregate luncheon centers, we have snowbirds who, they do come back and they come and they meet at the congregate luncheon center with their friends. But we don't typically see that. This is the March data. It's usually a little bit later. So I would say if this was in 2 months, then yes. But this is still just March's data, so.
All right, and we can move on then to, we have whoops, I'm on the wrong person. Okay, addendum to the total senior care contract.
Our office is requesting permission to accept an addendum to a current contract that we have with Total Senior Care as a food service provider for our home delivered meals and our congregate program. The addendum would increase our reimbursement rate from $10 to $11.50 per meal. That is what we would receive per meal for any that are received through our Total Senior Care referrals.
We have a motion for that.
Rumpfeld will move.
Second,
Ricketts Swales will second.
any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And new lease agreement with Cuba.
So this is, we're asking permission to enter into a lease agreement with the Cuba Fire Department, which is our Cuba congregate location. The reason for this is because we're looking to do the rate of $15 per day, and that would only go from January 1st, 2024 to May 31st, 2024. And then a rate increase of $1 to $16 per day for use of the premises from June 1st of 2024 to December 31st of 2024. We had accommodated that in our 2024 budget, and this is because of an increase in cost to electric heat for the venue to be able to be operating.
Okay, and we have a motion for that.
Hanchett will move.
Stockton, second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Thank you.
And one more, right?
Yes. Next is permission to enter into a contract or renew a contract with Home and Health Services of Hornell. This is for our home care services program for PC Level 1 and PC Level 2 services. The rate would be $29 for in-home services and $125 for the RN supervision. That is the same rate as 2023, and it is in our 2024 budget.
We have a motion to accept that.
Hanchett will move.
Ricketts Swales will second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Anything else today, Anita?
I would like to just share some information in regards to our TCE program, which is our tax counseling for the elderly program. We did close out our tax program, and as of April 4th, I'd like to give you a couple numbers, and next month I will give you the final numbers. But as of April 4th, the total tax returns that our volunteers had filed for older adults in Allegheny County, we had 477 federal returns filed, 479 state returns filed. The average refund amount at this point, again, April 4th, was $927 for a refund. That's the average. The total refund amount up to that point for our older adults in Allegheny County was $367,250 that went back into individuals' pockets. And the average income, adjusted gross income of participants who were using our volunteer tax program was $29,112. Again, I'll have those final figures because we do have to report that to AARP and the IRS. But we will have more accurate figures next month. That is only up till April 4th.
Very good. It's a great service for our seniors. Yeah, that's a great return.
And wonderful volunteers who do it.
Yes.
Because it's all volunteer-based. It's a volunteer
Yes.
program.
One more quick question. How's the picnic arrangements coming?
Good. So picnic is Tuesday, August 6th, with a rain date of Wednesday, August 7th. We are booking up. We've been taking reservations, so I'm really hoping for a beautiful day.
Okay, right. And the May celebrations are continuing?
They
at the
are.
sites?
We're finishing up this week and next. So we have older Americans Month is May. And yesterday I was actually in Albany for Older New Yorkers Day. We had 2 nominees in Allegheny County who were recognized by the New York State Office for the Aging by Greg Olson and received certificates. So
Yes, and I'd like to say one of those was from District 5, Rob Reiber.
That
So
is
we
correct.
congratulate Rob.
yep. So and the other one was Joanne Armstrong. So
Okay, great. Congratulations to them and whoever nominated them, yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Anita. All right, we are ready for you, Don, Deputy Social Services Commissioner. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
On the monthly report, I'd like to point out that the child support collections are up on page 2. We do expect that to happen at the beginning of the year. We do have notified a lot of people in the fall, you're behind on your collections, and if they're not caught up, that's when we start seizing your federal and state tax returns. So, and they go back in, so. That's, everything else is pretty consistent on the report, if there's any other questions.
Okay. Anybody has any questions? If not, we'll move on to your request to fill a senior typist.
The senior typist is at our child support unit. This is a vacancy that was due to a promotion here within the county. Our senior account clerk, our senior typist took the promotion and moved to another department. So, and this person mostly answers the door after court days and files a lot of our petitions and does a lot of tracking on the court calendar.
We have a motion for this.
Cricket Swales will move that.
Root will second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And now something for the first time, I think, under your department is the Youth Bureau.
Yes, the Youth Bureau. The first thing that we need to have done is the resource allocation plan needs approval so that the board chairman and the county treasurer can sign off on that. So we can get that into the Office of Children and Family Services for approval. That amount is up from our traditional amount of $51,000. It's increased to $106,000 for some new money that we've been working very hard on downstairs. And I'll explain the extra $55,000.
Stocking moves.
Root will second.
All right, do you want to explain now before we vote, or?
Sure. In the past, there's been 3 awards that have come down for youth sports and youth recreation within the county. That funding was very limited to who could apply for it. A lot of the organizations had to be labeled as a 501(c)(3). This year, they have now opened it up just for not-for-profits, as long as you meet the IRS definition and have an IRS tax number for a not-for-profit. Youth sports teams and youth recreation can start applying for the money, and there's 3 different types of allocations. The first ones are going to be the Youth Sports Education Opportunity Fund, and that's available to a broad array of physical sports and recreational activities, and that can be used for not like a team sport, but just like recreations for like summer youth programs and stuff like that for youth under the age of 18. The next one is the youth team sports allocation. That is limited to organizations that are in team sports. The state identifies a team sport as at least 2 people on one team and 2 people on another team with a victor in the outcome. So that would be like your Little League programs and stuff like that. For the meetings that we had, that was kind of a real thing that the state did put out there, that they wanted to make sure. And then the last one is for youth teams infrastructure. And what that will be for is if some of the organizations within the county want to apply for some money to help, like maybe repair a dugout or maybe repave like a tennis court. We're not going to be able to guarantee, because there's like round numbers for the youth sports is like $20,000, for the youth sports and education is around 20,000, and then the infrastructure is only 10,000. So we've been working on a way to get a grading system going, and it will be based on 25 points that the youth board will review, and then they will make awards. So if somebody applies for, say, $15,000 for their project, we may be able to supply maybe 2,000 or 3,000, whatever the board determines, and we're going to try to make it as equal as we can amongst all the people that apply for this money. And the board will make a determination of what grant the organization is applying for. Like, we're going to try to push a lot to the youth team sports, and then try to use a lot of the other money for the recreational, which is a much broader category.
How does anyone know to apply for these? And does this, I know in the past, when there were youth sports programs, for example, Alfred State College used to have a great youth program in the summer. The money was paid directly to the town and village. Is this money, this has nothing to do with the municipalities any longer, is that correct?
No, it's going to run through us downstairs. It'll run through just like the basic claiming process that we use for social services. We'll pay the money up front out of general fund, and then we will claim those monies on with the Office of Children and Family Services. It used to be that way in the past. We've had 3 meetings now with the OCFS, the state, and our representative for this money, and that has changed, so it all runs through us now.
And I guess one more question I have is there any paperwork that they need to use to justify how they spent the money, or is it just, here's your $2,000 for your program, go for it?
Nope. What it is we have been working on a packet that is now with the county attorney's office for approval. We will be putting this out, and the first 3 pages explains who can apply for this money. Your organization needs to meet these requirements. It also explains who cannot apply for the money. It can't be like a school, it can't be for profit, it can't be for like a professional type program. Like, I know a lot of people will get like private coaches and stuff because they want to get better. You can't apply for that. It does explain in there that it is a September 30th deadline on the expenditures. So we're moving very rapidly with this. And there are some state forms that they have to go through. They have to put together their budget for what they're applying for. And then they have to meet certain requirements for the money, such as positive youth development, physical health and well-being, mental health and well-being, and community cohesion. So,
Very good.
and then at the end, there are going to be reporting requirements that people have to do that apply for the money that are granted, and there will be certain forms for that. And there's also part of this packet, when it goes out, all that will be in there.
Great. Mr. Healy?
Thank you. So basically, we're just pass through for state funding, is that correct? And
Yes, it is.
we're going to do some of the administration. Do we get any, I mean, I'm all for this no matter what. It's a good idea and an old program, and newer idea, I guess. But do we get any reimbursed for any of that, or is that?
It's all reimbursed.
Okay.
The administration I'll run through under social services.
Right, thank
And
you.
the regular youth bureau, I'll run it through that money there.
Any
So,
other questions?
So when you get your packet and the applications, will this be available on your website so people can go there and download them and fill them out?
we've talked to administration about that. We're working on that. We may put it on the regular youth bureau website.
Okay.
I know that Brian has reached out to people already and kind of did our plan, and we've talked to the youth board about it already. A lot of it will travel word by mouth. We kind of explored maybe doing a Facebook, but we're not sure if we're going to do that yet or not. But there has to be a certain requirement of how we advertise, and we need to let the state know how we did it.
Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Carried. Good luck. Sounds like a good idea.
So,
All right, and then we have budget modification, right?
yep, and that goes
That's
along
for
with
the-
all of this, so.
Okay, can we have a motion for that?
Rumfeld will move it.
Hancher will second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. And then, let's see, we are accepting a donation.
Yes, we received a donation from the Zana Club of Olean and $1,000, and Olean Portville Lions Club for $300 for the Child Advocacy Center. We use that money to purchase supplies for the waiting room area for people that are coming in to do their interviews or other business at the CAC.
Have a motion for that.
Rumfeld.
Ricketts Swales will second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Is that it, Don?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And County Administrator Knapp, please.
Thank you. You have an MOE that was added late yesterday from Community Services. That is an MOE that Dr. Anderson and his staff had started working with Terry in the Treasurer's Office and myself on yesterday morning. I do not believe it's quite ripe for the agenda, and I would respectfully ask that it be withdrawn this month so that we could get it done correctly and put it on a new agenda. I know mental health services are very important to this board. We want to make sure we get it right.
Thank you. Can we have a motion for that?
Rumfeld. Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And this will be readdressed when it's all figured out, correct? Correct. Thank you. And let's see, our clerk of the board is not here today, so I will read this. The Board of Health would like to reappoint Dr. Joseph Felsen to serve a 6-year term commencing July 8th, 2024 and expiring July 7th, 2030. If the committee desires to make this reappointment, please have a motion to that effect included in your minutes along with a request to the county attorney to prepare a resolution. In addition, the chairman should sign the attached pink appointment form where indicated and return to me, Brenda Rigby-Healy. So can we have a motion to appoint Dr. Felsen?
Hancher will move.
Rumfeld will second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Carried. Do we have any old business today? New business? Good of the order? Can I have a motion for adjournment?
Madam Chairman, as there appears to be no other business to come before the Human Services Committee this afternoon, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Aye. Carried. Thank you.